Hello, everyone. This is Yonks with the DAO Hack, and we are busy today. This is actually our second episode, and we've got Adam Blumberg on here from PlannerDAO, and super excited. I'm very pleased to have the most important person in my life, my wonderful wife, Tyler, on as a co-host with me today. So welcome, Tyler, and welcome, Adam. Super excited to hear what you guys have got going on at PlannerDAO. So would you like to give us a quick introduction there, Adam?
Sure. Thanks so much, Yonks, for having me. Tyler, great to meet you and great to be here. PlannerDAO is the first, I guess, decentralized community for financial advisors. So I've been a certified financial planner for about 10 years now, and had my own RIA, and my partner and I kind of stopped that to get into the crypto world and get into the more specifically education on crypto. And last year we kind of got rid of our RIA, our registered investment advisor firm, so that we could actually create a course to educate financial advisors about how to adopt crypto and DeFi as part of their practice. And now this year we created a certification and designation around it. And then with another partner, we decided to create a DAO for financial advisors.
That's fabulous. I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. And since you haven't made an introduction for yourself, Tyler, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you. Would love to hear a little bit of your backstory.
Thanks, Jason. So I was in the industry. I was in the financial planning industry for 17 years, 14 as a wholesaler, 3 years as a private equity broker, and was so interested to connect with you, Adam, because I wanted to hear more about how crypto has fit into your investment strategy with your clients, how people are reacting to the whole idea of decentralized and DeFi regulated space like finance. So that's who I am, and got into the space here with Jason, jumping in, serial entrepreneur, and just drinking from a fire hose. So Adam, really interested in hearing what kind of curriculum have you built into this designation, and how have your clients reacted to DeFi concepts in a very regulated space like SEC and FINRA?
So that's really, I can go ahead and into that. That's a really good question. In all honesty, we didn't have a whole lot of clients in crypto and DeFi as financial advisors. Part of that is who our clients were. And I say were because, again, we gave up our RIA last year so that we could delve into educating other advisors about crypto and DeFi, because it was really difficult to do both. We didn't have very many clients actually in crypto, and part of the reason is because, again, our clients were very conservative. We dealt mostly with construction company owners, and we're here in Texas. So I always tell people, investors in Texas, especially in the construction world, they either they love buying land, and they either build something on top of it or they drill holes underneath it. That's pretty much what we do. So the experience with actual clients is a little bit difficult. You mentioned the compliance, the regulation, which is still a problem. We're still all trying to wrap our hands around it, or wrap our arms around it, and understand what is legal, what is compliant, and what is not. And a lot of times, honestly, advisors just don't know how to do the research to figure out what actually is compliant. Now, a lot of firms have a chief compliance officer. If they're a big enough firm, they have a whole compliance team, and they delve into this. And look, they're going to put in as much effort as they think they will get back out in revenue, right? And that's kind of part of that's kind of the difficult part for financial advisors right now, is figuring out how much time and effort you're going to put into learning about crypto, learning about DeFi, based on how much assets, how much AUM you're going to have, how much assets under management you're going to be able to put into it, and therefore how much revenue you're going to make from it. All right, so it's not worth putting in, a couple $100,000 to education and try some platforms and get some compliance stuff done and work with lawyers if you're going to get, maybe $1 million worth of client assets devoted to crypto, and you're going to charge 1% on that, right? The money just doesn't work out that well.
Sure.
So that's part of the issue we've seen in terms of education is it's either people who have clients or prospects that are already into crypto and they want to be able to help them, or honestly, it's a lot of kind of younger advisors that want to make this part of their practice going forward and know that this is how they can get a bunch of younger clients, a bunch of clients that are, maybe in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and do want to put some of their assets into crypto.
And when people are talking, or when you're thinking through an investment strategy, as you're talking to advisors, do you present crypto as more like a stock or more like a currency play or as a utility to trade with and tax management? What are some of the ways that you present crypto in your portfolios?
We talk about it in terms of where it fits allocation wise. It's from a risk perspective, it's kind of an alternative, right? So alts, alternatives. I mean, we were talking a little bit about real estate earlier, and real estate obviously fits in the alternative category. But from a risk profile, from a risk perspective, it functions more like an alternative, right? It's something you put money in that at any point you don't have a whole lot of control over the value of it. And if you want to be real technical about crypto, everyone says, well, it could go to zero, so only invest what you're willing to completely lose. We don't think that a whole lot of it's going to zero, especially if you look at anything that is, the kind of the top cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and ETH and such. And we also don't give advice. We don't tell advisors what to do. We tell advisors, don't necessarily tell your clients. I mean, you give them advice, but we're not telling you what to invest in. So to answer your question a little bit better, we see it kind of as an alternative from a risk profile perspective, but it doesn't function like most alternatives, because most alternative investments are things like real estate, private companies, private equity, hedge funds, something like that, where yes, you could have some very big upside. It is usually not correlated with the rest of your portfolio. But what you usually give up in alternative assets is liquidity. And what you have in crypto, what you have in Bitcoin and ETH and some of the bigger ones especially, is you have literally 24/7, 365 liquidity. You can get out at any moment, which is completely different from any other alternative investment you've ever been a part of. So you can have you have very asymmetric risk, right? It could go to zero, but you could go up 3, 4, 5x, which we've already seen this year. We've already seen the 2x and the 3x this year. But you also have the opportunity that if it starts going down, you can get out virtually immediately. So you have those plays in addition to the kind of alternative from a risk perspective. The other thing to think about, Tyler, is that's nice for advisors trying to get clients in to crypto. If they get directly into managing Bitcoin or managing ETH or something like that for their clients, is yes, it kind of functions like an alternative asset or alternative asset class. But most alts, as you well know, the client has to be accredited. So this is one where the client does not have to be accredited. Like anyone can go buy Bitcoin, anyone can go buy ETH. And we're just saying, look, as an advisor, you might want to help your client out and show them where it fits in as part of their portfolio, so that they can keep it safe. As the advisor, you want to help them out with security. You want to help, if they're going to store it in a hard wallet offline, you want to show them what security looks like. If they want it traded, if you're the advisor that wants to learn enough about it that you can help them trade it, okay, what are the platforms you're going to use? Because safety and security is going to be a really big deal. I don't know. That was probably way too much answer for your question, Tyler. I apologize.
No, absolutely. I thought it was great. So if you meet an advisor who is thinking about introducing this to his or her portfolio for the first time, what are the top maybe 3 to 5 things that you would advise somebody to think through where this fits in their practice as a financial advisor?
Where it fits in their practice overall?
Mm-hmm.
How
would you advise an advisor?
How would I advise an advisor? The most important thing, and of course I'm a little biased on this, but the most important thing, of course, is the education, right? Don't get clients into Bitcoin, don't get them into ETH, don't get them into crypto or DeFi or anything if you don't understand it. It's an asset unlike anything that you've ever utilized, unlike anything you've ever put clients in before. And I don't say that as hyperbole. I say that because from a technical risk perspective, from a lot of the other characteristics of cryptocurrency, it is very different than anything you've ever dealt with before. So really get some education so that you can actually have conversations with clients. Number two is you really want to understand the compliance and regulation pieces. You want to understand if you can get into crypto from a compliance standpoint and how you go about doing it, and understand, from a custodial perspective, from a SEC or state reporting perspective, all of those things, you really want to understand what you are allowed to talk about. And then as an advisor, decide what you're comfortable with. Which clients are you going to bring into, which clients are you going to talk about crypto with? Are there clients that you already have or prospects that you've already talked to a little bit? And those are the ones that you're going to talk to, because we tell advisors all the time, look, we're probably not at the point where you go out to your clients and say, I think you should be in crypto, because you don't need that headache. You don't need that compliance risk and regulatory risk and insurance risk and everything. But you have more clients than you think that already have it or are already interested. And you have plenty of clients that are willing to tell you, if you just say, hey, I took these classes about DeFi and cryptocurrency now. And you'd be surprised probably at how many clients go, hey, I have, I got some Bitcoin sitting in my Coinbase account or something. Can you help me with that? And as the advisor, if you go, yeah, like I know enough to have that conversation with you, then you're good. And you might not even know how to make money on it right now. But at least as an advisor, you're doing your job as a fiduciary. You're doing your job to learn about some of the assets and some of the investments that your clients want to make. And that's really important. So I'd say, look, education, number one, without a doubt. Number two, I would say understanding the compliance and regulatory landscape. And then after you've done that, figure out what you're comfortable with.
Yeah, absolutely. So can you tell us more about PlannerDAO? How did that come up? Who should be part of it? How can people get involved with it? What is it? How does it work? And how can people get involved with it?
Yeah, I would love to. So PlannerDAO was an idea that we had to start just a decentralized organization of financial advisors, financial planners, right? We as advisors are members of or can be members of so many different organizations, Financial Planning Association, any sort of CFP, financial advisor organizations, insurance organizations, whatever they might be, that you can be a member of. And they're all a little bit similar. They all have, geographic related chapters. They all have lunch meetings. They all have continuing ed, all of those things. But we thought, why can't there be a national or international, actually, organization of financial advisors that's free to join? Any financial advisor can come join. Actually, technically, anyone can come join. But financial advisors are actually going to receive tokens once they can prove that they're an advisor. And we are going to, work through how we bring value to this organization, because most of the organizations, most of the communities that advisors can be a part of themselves do not derive or drive any value for those advisors above and beyond, I can network and I can, get some sort of education and continuing ed for it. We want to drive some value. We want PlannerDAO to be a force when it comes to regulation, when it comes to products like indices, when it comes to products like, maybe DeFi products. And look, PlannerDAO is not all crypto based. The idea is for it to be for all advisors all the time. So if you come into PlannerDAO and you're an expert on 401k plans, look, there are a ton of other advisors that want to learn more about 401k plans. And it would be great to have a subgroup within there that is all talking about retirement plans and how they can help out each other, because a community of financial advisors that is willing to help each other and can eventually see that as we help each other, and then as we go out and help the community, we're building value. And by the way, I got a bunch of tokens when I joined. And so the value that I help grow and the value that I help create in this DAO actually affects me financially. Well, then, yeah, I want to devote some time and effort to it, because the alternative is you devote time and effort to an organization, a nonprofit financial planning organization that doesn't really give you back any value. You devote time to it as kind of as a volunteer to say, look, I'm going to be in charge of the, planning the CE lunches this year. And what it gets you is maybe some network and some notoriety within the association, but it doesn't really get you anything of real, kind of financial value or business value. And we thought, my gosh, it would be great to get financial advisors together in a way that as a community, we can help each other out, come up with ideas that can make us, not only help each other, but help the entire industry. And then we look at the industry. In addition, we look at it internationally. Financial planners exist everywhere in the world. Why shouldn't we have geographic chapters that exist in other geographic locations, right? So that's the idea of the DAO. Is we're figuring out now, we're determining how we're going to add value, and then we're just going to keep bringing more and more members in, and let those members determine how we're going to continue to add value and continue to grow the revenue capabilities of the DAO, the value capabilities of the DAO, and the education. And we say the main points of PlannerDAO are educate, collaborate, and innovate. And that's what we're trying to do. Because that look, in all honesty, that's something that's kind of been lacking in the financial services world, is the idea of innovation, the idea of collaboration. It's a very it is very much me against you. We're actually competing a lot of times, so there's not a lot of collaboration. Obviously, we all, especially in the DAO, crypto, DeFi world, definitely talk ill of the innovation that exists in financial services. So that's what we want to do: educate, collaborate, and innovate, and see how we can make the DAO a community for advisors to be proud of, and a community for the advisors that can really have a tremendous amount of value.
I love that. I love that mission. So is this mainly for asset managers? Are you looking for tax pros, life insurance agents? How broadly do you define financial professional?
The same way you just defined it. It's anyone who kind of considers himself a financial professional. I'm not. I'm personally not going to be snobby about it. Whoever wants to help out clients. Now, look, some of them are going to get something different out of it than others. I'm licensed to sell insurance, so I have no problem with talking to people about life, health, disability, all that stuff. And look, there are plenty of people that could come in and not only get a tremendous amount of value from the DAO as an insurance professional, but they could probably give a tremendous amount of value to the DAO as an insurance professional, because they're going to be able to educate a lot of the others, right? There are probably ways to be able to help other advisors that want to learn more about insurance and want to feel like they can have a safe place to come talk about it. They can't necessarily do it on LinkedIn or Twitter, because they're going to get inundated with tweets and DMs and probably spam and stuff. Whereas why don't we give them a safe place to talk about it? So yeah, it doesn't matter to me whether you're an asset manager, hedge fund manager, insurance professional, whatever you want to call yourself. Come on in and figure out where you can add value. That's the beauty of DAOs, right? Like you come in and there's kind of this very loose framework, but once you start having conversations and you see where they go, like that's the great value to be had with these kind of loose organizations built around this idea of code, right?
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward. I'm hoping, Adam, that this will be a wonderful experience for you, because I would definitely like to have you on the show as a future guest to just hear the progress that you've gone through. And I actually just wanted to take a pause, and I don't know how you feel about POAPs, but wanted to shout out to Amy. Amy is one of our core team at Retoken DAO, the real estate DAO. And she was asking about POAPs. So I'm going to actually bring this up. We're a big fan of POAPs. I've started collecting them myself. Again, crypto class of 2021. So let me bring that up. So
Yeah.
We're going to have, go ahead, Adam.
No, I was going to say, go ahead and do that. I'm a big fan of POAPs.
Nice. So we have a special POAP that we created just for this episode. Got the little PlannerDAO, the plan token is in. Are you guys listed on any exchange, or is that on the roadmap?
That is on the roadmap. We have not even actually distributed it yet to anyone, because we're playing around with a bunch of different distribution methods. We're playing around with different software, different applications. I actually, on my YouTube channel, I'm actually kind of going through and chronicling how we're going through building this DAO, because it's a little bit different than, a lot of the ones that you've seen so far, a lot of the ones that are more famous, the, Friends with Benefits and Meta Cartel and those, because we're not dealing with crypto native people. Like we're dealing with financial advisors that most of which are not crypto native, or they've come by virtue of the fact that they've been through our CDAA course and then they learned about PlannerDAO and came in, but they haven't been involved in crypto and DeFi and DAOs for 3-4 years like we have. So trying to build a DAO for groups like that is a little bit different than the crypto native that'll jump on a Discord and be on there 24/7 and jump in and figure out what they have to do and be perfectly happy getting paid tokens.
Hey, Adam, we have a question from the audience, if that's okay.
Yes.
This is a question from Trayton. What are a couple of the biggest goals for PlannerDAO? Anything advisors can use in their practice coming up on the roadmap? So if you have any comments on that, I'd love to hear that.
Good question, Trayton. Thank you. Some of the biggest goals for PlannerDAO. So interestingly enough, this kind of goes along with it, is that we gave the certification, the Certified Digital Asset Advisor designation and certification, we handed it over to PlannerDAO because we thought a designation and a certification like that is that important needs to be governed by either a nonprofit body, or in this case, there can't be a better organization than a DAO to govern a certification like this. So the CDAA certification is now governed by PlannerDAO. So PlannerDAO is, we have an education working group that is creating areas of knowledge, is creating a system whereby we can have other education providers that can create the education content for it. That's going to help tremendously in terms of bringing value to the DAO. And because what it'll do is it'll have so many more education providers, partners, those in the financial services industry that are bringing in their advisors and their network that want to take maybe 1 or 2 courses, but eventually that can go towards their CDAA designation. We're going to bless those courses. So that's a little bit a part of what we're doing. We're trying to provide other avenues that advisors can get directly into decentralized finance, can get into crypto. We're trying to eventually help them out with maybe we'll do something with something like index co-op, where we create our own index if we want. So those are some of the goals. Like one of the main goals is, can we some kind of decentralize the Certified Digital Asset Advisor designation? Can we make it to where, look, any advisor can come in here, can come into the DAO, become a member, join the education working group, put in their 2 cents. We have a framework for how we change the areas of knowledge, or a framework for how we identify new education partners. And in a sense, we can kind of decentralize a designation or in a certification. We're trying to create that framework, because that'll take effect not only for CDAA and for PlannerDAO, but for so many other designations and so many other groups. So that's something we're working on that we're pretty excited about. The other part of the question, anything advisors can use in their practice coming up on the roadmap? Well, we're always creating more resources for advisors in terms of what they can use, especially around CDAA and especially around digital assets. We have some resources or we have some projects that we're looking at in respect to pro bono financial planning that we're really interested in, that some of our advisors came up with. And we decided we wanted to create that framework. We have some that are working on social media marketing for financial advisors and how to make that a little bit better for them. So those are some of the kind of exciting areas we're going down. Keep in mind we have 150 members, and we only started, I guess, 3 months ago. Of course, not every member is active, but we have enough active members that and by the way, Trayton is one of them. That very active member, but we have a bunch of active members that are really contributing and learning and making this a very valuable community for these advisors.
That's awesome. So on the off chance that College for Financial Planning or the American College or any of the large industry education providers are listening to this, how would you advise them to go toward a DAO model to kind of follow your lead on PlannerDAO? What do you think the benefit would be of CFP or CLU or CFA or some of the industry designations being governed as a DAO versus being governed as a central education provider like they are now?
Look, I would say that it's going to definitely be a learning process for them. It's going to be figuring out how are we going to take what is a centralized group, and for the most part, a group that actually has employees, right? That's one of the big difference is those groups a lot of times have actual employees. They're paying people, and as we know, with any kind of nonprofit organization, once you start having employees and projects and buildings and everything else, it gets really hard to back away from that. Not that you can't have employees in a DAO, and I'm sure we will at some point, but that's going from centralized to decentralized, or going from a traditional company, whether it's an LLC or a nonprofit like that, to a DAO is definitely going to be a learning process, and something you're going to have to say, okay, we're going to have to be okay with breaking some of the things we already have in place, and not always saying this is how we've always done things, and so we're going to continue to do it that way. Now, again, from a somewhat biased perspective, I would say, why don't you guys just join the DAO, join PlannerDAO, and have the CFP group within there, and then you can utilize we can have all the advisors as part of this, and one of the designations that we learn how to manage from a decentralized point of view could be the CFP, or could be the CFA, because we're already learning how to do this in a decentralized manner. So we might as well, share the wealth and not try to compete with other groups, but we might just say, look, just come into the PlannerDAO. Let's have it be a very powerful organization, because it could be powerful, dealing with regulators, dealing with legislators. It could be very powerful in terms of pricing. It could be very powerful with custodians. So why not all kind of join together, and we can have different subgroups within here that are the CFP subgroup and the CFA subgroup, and they could have their own governance in there. But if I'm a financial advisor and I am a CFP, and I get my CDAA designation, and I get several other designations, why do I want to be a part of 3 or 4 different groups? Why not just be a member of one DAO, one big financial planning organization, and know that there are different subgroups or working groups in there that are governing the different designations that I have?
Yeah, I think that's so interesting on what this could mean for the entire designation industry, because there are so many. I mean, I just named just a few of the big 3, and I didn't even touch on the 100 other ones that are out there, or any of the ones related to anything that isn't asset management. So there's a bunch.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and look, we intend to have more kind of designations, certifications within here. One, we would like to take, some of the smaller ones that are out there, the ones that are, I don't know if they're less utilized, but don't have as much infrastructure around them, and say, look, why don't you just come in here? We have kind of the infrastructure built. We've done this already with CDAA, and I'm not saying we've done this now, but in 6 months, a year, 2 years, come on in. We'll show you how the process goes. We'll open you up to a whole bunch of more advisors that are already members of our group. You bring in your advisors or your members that are already a member of your group and ours, and we can help you do that. So I think the way designations and certifications are handled is going to change. I think things like POAPs are going to help. Obviously, things like NFTs or membership tokens are going to help. Identity is going to be a big one. Being able to show connect your wallet and show that you've taken a certain exam, and show that you're a member of a certain group. Show that you attended a particular event, and therefore you can get your continuing education. All those are going to be a big part. And our being at the forefront of crypto and DeFi is going to help a lot of those groups as they try to move this direction, because it can be a tremendous amount more efficient.
What advice would you give a younger professional, maybe early 20s, just out of school, interested in finance as a career? What advice would you give that person about what they need to start learning about DAOs now, and to be successful for the next generation of financial planning?
Oh, that's a really good question. So my advice, of course, again, I'm biased. My advice is learn about, you got to learn about the origins of crypto first. Like that's what we always say. You have to learn about how Bitcoin works in order to understand how blockchains work, custody works, and then you can start going down that line of, okay, Ethereum, DeFi, what are NFTs and what is a DAO? So I would recommend that anyone getting into financial services now, especially if you're in your 20s, is you're going to want to learn about cryptocurrency, about DeFi, about how custody it works now and is going to work. And that will get you into talking about DAOs by default, because you can go down the realm of being a part of a DAO. You can go down so many different realms here. There's being a part of a DAO, right? Like PlannerDAO. What does it mean to come join an organization, put in some work, and potentially actually get paid in cryptographic tokens, connect your wallet, and have something of value for your work, for putting in your work, and something where you as part of a community are trying to increase the value. The next part is, as a financial advisor dealing with DAOs, is if you are interested in getting your clients into crypto and into DeFi and into tokens that are not just Bitcoin and ETH, you're going to have to understand DAOs, because some of the biggest cryptocurrencies are actually governed by DAOs. Right, you have Maker and Aave and Compound, and they're all governed by a DAO. So you're going to have to understand that anyway if you're going to end up helping your clients. What is the difference between Maker as a community that is governed by a DAO versus a bank? How is that any different? Right, and you're going to have to be able to articulate and explain that to clients who are your investors. And another part is, you might have clients that make their income by being a part of one or several different DAOs. They might make their income in tokens for doing work for different DAOs. And you can make a tremendous amount of money that way, well more, far more than you need to be able to live your life every year. And as a financial advisor, you better be able to understand what the creator economy is like, and what NFTs are like, and what DAOs are like. And you can't have a client who says, well, I earn all my money in cryptographic tokens from DAOs. And you go, well, I don't know what that means, so I can't really help you there. Like, as an advisor, there's so many different reasons why you're going to want to learn this. And only one of them is helping your clients invest in Bitcoin. There are several other reasons why you're going to want to learn about cryptocurrency, about DeFi, and by default, you're going to have to learn about how DAOs function and work, because it is so ingrained in the crypto and DeFi culture.
Just want to give the opportunity. We thank you, Trayton, for your comment, and please send me a DM. We're going to put forward a proposal to reward anytime that we have a guest that's participating in the live stream to receive 10 retoken. Again, the DAO Hack, we are an incentivized community here. We're Web3 tokenized with Hack coin. So super excited we literally just watched it, launched that, and we on episode 2, literally today, we did our very first airdrop distributing our Hack coin, and wanted to bounce over here again to the PO app. So I'm running the little banner here. We're going to implement this, and that's something that Tyler and maybe somebody else from our community can help get set up, because I was a little frustrated on getting the PO app bot, and I know that they're working on a version 2 of the PO app bot, but super excited as far as what the PO app community is doing there, and looking forward on that note too, to go back to the conversation that you were talking about, Adam, as far as one of the things that I don't know if it's technically possible, but in the side conversation that we were having, one of the things that we're very interested in through Retoken DAO, the real estate DAO, is creating a fractionalized real estate, and we're looking at doing a 3-tiered certificate program. So definitely looking forward to having more conversations, tapping your brain as far as how that you set your program up, because we're definitely wanting to award continuing education units for that as well. So one of the other things, do you guys, do you have any events that you're planning on facilitating, like through PlannerDAO on your roadmap right now?
You know what? We don't have any events planned right now. That is definitely something we would like to do. We're working on having a podcast or even a podcast network almost for any of our advisors that want to have some, have some topic they want to hit or, a podcast they want to hit. We don't have any, big events planned yet. I think that's something that maybe, towards the end of next year or something, we definitely want to participate in some. So I'm actually speaking at the Crypto for Advisors conference that CoinDesk is putting on in October. So that, that's something, and I'm speaking not only as, for the CDAA, but also for PlannerDAO, and talking about, mainly how advisors can integrate crypto into their practice. And we're speaking at Financial Planning Association events. The next cohort actually of the CDAA, the Certified Digital Asset Advisor course, will start on September 24th. So we made it a cohort-based course. It's 6 weeks. So the next one actually starts on September 24th for anyone who's interested. And by the way, I will get you guys, which I apologize I didn't do, but I will get you a discount code so any of your viewers or listeners can actually utilize a discount code if they're a financial advisor and want to get into that course. But that's what we have from an events perspective. We don't have any plan, but I could definitely see where we could end up having either virtual or in-person conferences for the PlannerDAO members. Something else that I wanted to address, because you mentioned, having the RE or real estate DAO, real estate RE token, is that, Trayton, who asked the question there, this was kind of an exciting time that Trayton, who asked the question a little bit earlier, went through the first process we had. We all these processes are very new, and we had him actually go through the process of requesting plan tokens in order to help manage the social media, help manage the Twitter account, LinkedIn account for PlannerDAO. And we went through the regular DAO process to say, look, you got to submit a proposal. Here's what the proposal has to say. We have to have it go through certain processes and approve it. And once that's done, we will send you plan tokens, which is our native token. We'll send you plan tokens in return for your managing the social media platforms that we have. And so that was kind of a big event for us, just like with any DAO. Like there were some big events there, and that was a big one for us because that set the precedent for how we're going to do other requests going forward. That set the precedent that you can't just like call and ask or send someone a direct message and say, hey, can you send me some plan tokens for this? We said, no. There's a process for this. There's a process that everyone has to go through. And that's part of the decentralized, that's part of the autonomous part, right? Is everyone has to go through the process. And once you do that, then we got to figure out, then we said, oh, well, now we have to determine what does that process look like? What is voting going to look like? What system are we going to use for voting? So we're testing some of those out. We're testing out Colony and some others for how we go about voting and distributing tokens. So it's such a learning process right now. So like our entire roadmap should say we're going to spend a lot of time learning this stuff. And as we joke about, like we build airplanes while flying them.
That's all of our roadmaps, I think.
Yeah, we don't know what's going to come of it. We do know that this organization, this DAO versus several others, we definitely have a path to revenue already. And that path is the Certified Digital Asset Advisor designation, where we can charge advisors, we can charge other partners. We can charge advisors to actually take the course or take the exam. We can look at how we're going to allow education partners or education providers to be partners of ours, and that will take them potentially buying some of our tokens, maybe staking them. So we're going to get to play around with all different ways that we can utilize the fact that we have a token and we have a DAO to generate revenue in different forms.
You just sparked one. Oh, go ahead.
I was actually going to ask, you brought up Colony, and I got a text from Robbie who wasn't able to participate in this, but he did want to ask about Colony. So what can you speak about Colony, since that's not something that we have looked into, but it was definitely something that is kind of evaluating as far as, but we didn't really do a deep dive on it.
Okay. Yeah. Colony is something we're evaluating. It's a way that it's really a system for having kind of a voting community online, so you can build your logic into it that says, here's how we're going to, distribute tokens. Here's how we're going to have, proposals for distributing tokens. So I can say, look, I'm going to, I propose we distribute 1,000 tokens to Trayton, and then, others that are in the group can get in there and either stake tokens to say, to agree with it, or they can stake tokens against it. And then, if there are a certain amount of tokens staked against it, then we start having debate, and then we decide which direction we're going to go. And it's a way to, of course, in a decentralized way, in a trustless way, and most importantly, in a transparent way, to be able to talk about how we're going to distribute. So it doesn't get held in some sort of black box where no one knows what's happening to the treasury. It's a way to get it out there in the relative public, right? In the public that is the DAO, this particular DAO. Colony is a system that we can use to be able to effectively and efficiently distribute tokens, directly, for instance, to someone who sends in a question from a live YouTube stream, or someone who contributes to the DAO. So we could have the proposal within Colony that says, I'm going to distribute 500 tokens to Trayton for doing XYZ, and then others can come in there and either oppose it or agree with it, stake their tokens on one side or the other, and then you set up the business logic that says, here's how this process actually goes through. They're not set up yet with actual smart contracts that say, if the vote is approved, then immediately distribute tokens. You still have to manually go do that, and that's where you get into things like multi-sig wallets, which we use Gnosis for. So there's so many different aspects to it, from a tech stack perspective, and then from a person perspective. Like how are we actually going to communicate? We use something called Mighty Networks.
We love Mighty Networks.
Instead of Discord, we use Mighty Networks. Obviously, it's great for some purposes. It has limitations in others, but we figured it was a better solution for financial advisors than Discord, which can feel a little, game and crypto-y, I guess.
Sure. I had a question. I know a lot of the financial planners I've worked with over the years were always interested when they were working with business owners in liquidity events. Do you have in PlannerDAO a mastermind or any curriculum or anything that talks about how tokenization actually create how this infrastructure could create new pools of money to manage? Is that something you guys are addressing at all? Is it something that fits in with what you're working on?
Are you asking, do we have something in here that talks about how we as PlannerDAO can create more pools?
I was just curious. So many of the financial planners I had as clients over the years would say, I have a guy who owns a business and he's not super liquid right now, but in a few years he will be. And when he sells his business for $10 million, blah, 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 instead of saying, is tokenization of current businesses so you can retain control but still have your liquidity event, or have a liquidity event without finding traditional buyers? Are those topics that you guys are starting to get into to create more assets for advisors, or does that not fit in with where you're going?
We have definitely thought of it, and we will 99% sure we will go those directions, because we are pushing the bounds as much as we can, and we are utilizing DeFi and crypto the way we feel it should be utilized to be more efficient. And what you're talking about, Tyler, is exactly the scenario that DeFi should be utilized for. And so we're definitely going to use our knowledge of the financial services space, of things like estate planning and succession planning, business planning. I mean, that's what I did. We were, my partner Ron and I were financial advisors, and all of our clients were entrepreneurs. All of our clients were business owners. We know the liquidity issues that are there, and we want to be able to help and to be able to utilize PlannerDAO for one, for liquidity events, for funding events, for banking style for banking style help for other financial advisors. I think we can do that. We can almost have a bank. Like what stops us? I guess there's probably some security laws, but what stops us from, kind of forking Aave code and having it within PlannerDAO and allowing advisors to be able to lend to each other? Why can't we have that? I'm sure we can. We can create our own liquidity pools for certain indices. Why can't we do that? Why can't we help some of our clients potentially create their own liquidity pools for financing businesses, or for financing the sale of businesses, or the succession plans of businesses? Why shouldn't we do that? Because in the absence of that, as financial advisors, when we have clients that need those services, we have to go find some other third party to help out with that. And that third party, of course, is going to have all the friction and fees of the traditional finance system that we think should be replaced. So why shouldn't we, if we have the expertise and know what our clients need, why shouldn't we, try to create some of those liquidity pools or different, and help out with different liquidity events or funding events or lending protocols? We should completely be doing that. And I think that is something that's going to come down, because again, when you're going to have enough advisors in here, they're going to start talking about what some of their issues are. And once you start having those conversations and see them happening and go, hey, by the way, there's this DeFi protocol that will allow someone to help you with that. That will allow help for your client to get some liquidity, to get some, to borrow some money, whatever it might be. Then we go, all right, well, as a DAO, why don't we just go create that? Why don't we just go build it? And we can do that. And that's what's different about our organization than any other association of financial advisors or association of any other types of professionals, is I think we're going to have the ability to do things like that when we see that there's a need, whereas most organizations aren't able to do that.
So commercial lenders, bankers, business brokers, all these people should be looking at joining PlannerDAO also.
Sure. Come on in. We're happy to have anyone in there. Now, look, financial planners, financial advisors, you're going to have a CRD number in order to get your plan tokens. So that's, I guess kind of one of the limitations. But yeah, I mean, we want anyone to come join if they're interested in being part of this and building this next system. Then yeah, and we're not kicking anybody out by any means at this point.
Or do you have a different, like a social token or a different currency, for lack of a better word, for people who aren't securities licensed, but they want to participate?
No, I think we'll still build a lot around the plan token, because we don't have it available on any third party, on any DEXs right now, but we will when we start distributing it more. So we will give the ability to for others that are not financial advisors to obviously buy the token from a DEX, more than likely. And then we will have ways to utilize that token, whether it's for voting, whether it's staking it for some purposes, whether it's using it for sponsorship. We will have other reasons to utilize that token, and hopefully, have it have some value both inside and outside of the DAO.
Sure. If you could wave a magic wand and give regulators a wish list of what you wish that they knew about DAOs, and you don't have to answer that if you want to guess something else, but if you were sitting down with your magic wand and the heads of FINRA and the SEC and the various regulatory bodies, what would you want them to know about what you're creating? And what would you want them to look at the finance industry differently if they understood the power of DAO and crypto and DeFi and everything that you're talking about?
I don't know if there's one particular thing. What I want them to do, what I would really like for regulators, and in this case, I'm going to talk, primarily about U.S. regulators, because that's what we deal with the most, right? The SEC, which is obviously a huge topic today, and what they're doing with Coinbase, and then and what they did, last week, starting to investigate Uniswap and what's going on there. Of course, FINRA, of course, Congress, and what we saw last month with the infrastructure bill. What I want them to do is really, one, get educated with an open mind, and two, realize that the reason, and again, not to get too theoretical and philosophical, but the reason why the U.S. is in the position that we're in, and I don't mean like any bad position or anything. I mean the position we're in from a financial power perspective. The main reason why we're in this position is because we have an economy that allows for innovation. And when you start to take away that ability to innovate, when you basically start to play defense and go, well, now we're just going to sit on our laurels, and we're going to say we've gotten to a point where we have so much power, now we just have to protect it. Now we just have to make sure that we keep in mind that we protect every single investor from potentially losing money. And we make sure that we don't allow for any inflation, and we don't allow for the market to even drop 3% without jumping in and trying to lower interest rates or something. What I would say to any regulator, legislator, anything like that is just come, like be educated, have an open mind about it, think about it from the perspective of innovation and not necessarily protectionism. Because it's such a cliche, but the best defense is a good offense, right? Keep innovating. And even if that means innovating from a financial perspective, continue to innovate and allow for that. And we will continue to be more and more powerful. And that power might not be in the way that you think of it in the past. It might not be we have the power because of our ability to wield the dollar. It might be we have the power because we're the ones who allowed for all this innovation, and therefore all of the best innovators and the best thinkers and everything in crypto and in DeFi and in DAOs are now headquartered in the US. Therefore, they're paying taxes here, and they're helping us with regulation, and they're helping to build programs alongside of us instead of against us, right? That's what I would say. So it's the magic wand is, I would love for it to be less political and less about protecting the power that they already have, and more about protecting the power that is innovation, because the innovation from a technical and from a financial and economic side is actually what gives much, much more power in the future.
Well, we have another question from the audience from Slash. Okay. What's the biggest problem encountered so far? And I'm not sure what the context of that is, so I guess you answer it any way you'd like.
Okay. Well, thanks, Slash. I mean, awesome to have celebrities on board. The biggest problem encountered so far, you know what, we weren't sure when we launched PlannerDAO, we were not sure what to expect from advisors coming in and helping. And we've all, kind of been a part of other DAOs, some just to see what they're like, some to actually jump in there and help out. So we weren't sure what it would be when members come in. I think the biggest problem we've encountered is trying to explain to most new members, to most new financial advisors, what we're doing and why, how to be a part, how to start helping, and why we might have value, right? Why you might want to contribute some of your time, because part of it is this idea of a token that has value in the future. So any time and effort you put in now will result in more income and net worth and whatever else it is in the future. That's a really tough concept to get across right now. I mean, you think you have your work that you do for pay, and you have your work that you might do for some sort of nonprofit or volunteer work, whether that's with a financial association or whether that's with any other nonprofit you do work for. You kind of expect to feel good and help the community, but there's not like an idea of, I'm going to help this organization or this industry with the idea that it's going to help me from an actual value perspective. And I think the biggest problem is that we've encountered so far is determining how we're going to add value and grow and still give advisors the ability to come in and make it somewhat decentralized. Give other advisors the ability to come in, take some time, learn what we're doing, find a place that they can jump in and help, and give them the ability to go help and make the organization better without our necessarily always having to dictate, here's what we're doing next, because we don't want it to be a super centralized organization. It just has had to start out that way with a few of us that are, kind of the core contributors kind of pushing it, because we're the ones who've been thinking about it the most. We're the ones who know the most about DAOs and DeFi. And so we are necessarily going to push because we've already thought about cool things like you mentioned earlier, Tyler, with the, liquidity programs for small businesses. Well, most advisors aren't going to think about that. They've probably thought about it at some point going, man, it would be great if some of my clients could get some sort of liquidity out of their business that's worth $10 million right now. And we might look at that now and go, okay, we can probably do it. There's a DeFi way to do it. Let's figure out what's compliant. And to get that across to financial advisors of like, okay, bring your problems. We can probably figure out a way to solve them for you and your clients. That was a really, really long answer to a really short question, Slash, and I apologize for that. I have a tendency to ramble a bit.
Was great.
Yeah, I get excited about it, but that's what I would say the biggest problem is, trying to explain to people who are not necessarily crypto and DeFi native how to come in and start helping out, and why there will be value that's reached from your desire to help out the group.
Sure. Well, we wanted to be respectful of your time, keep this right at an hour. So we're at 55 minutes. Real quick, what's your website? How can people get involved with PlannerDAO? What are the real quick things that people need to know about if they want to learn more?
Sure. So PlannerDAO is just plannerdao.com, PlannerDAO.com. And anyone can join. Of course, if you're a financial advisor, even better if you join. Our certification site is certifieddigital.org. That's the Certified Digital Asset Advisor site. So if you're a financial advisor.
Is that the word 5 or the number 5?
Certifieddigital.org.
Certified. I think
certifieddigital.org is our course for financial advisors. Again, it starts September 24th. And if you heard about us here, I'll send you guys a discount code you can use to give out to anyone who's watching or listening.
Awesome.
So those are, I guess, the two best ways. And then, myself, Ron, my partner at InterAxis, we have a YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and look up InterAxis, you see a lot of the videos we've done. I don't know, we have like 150 of them up or something. And I think the last 4 are all DAO related, about the DAOs that we're building right now. And that's kind of the theme we're going to continue to go down, is investigating how we are building DAOs, some of the tools we're using, some of the issues we're seeing, some of the same conversations that we had here, we're going to continue to have, but it'll be me on YouTube and a whiteboard and that kind of stuff.
Great. Well, wanted to drop a quick plug for the DAO Hack. Subscribe, join us on our Discord. If you don't have the Discord, just DM Yonks on here or LinkedIn or Twitter or Clubhouse or Instagram or wherever you would like to find Yonks. Come all over the place. Babe, did you have anything else before we close up?
No, and you did a fabulous job co-hosting. So thank you so much for that. And thank you, Adam, for hanging out with us today. Looking forward to, and we'll have to circle back, because definitely want to have more conversations about this Opportunity Zone Fund DAO that we've already started setting up. It's a little bit on the shelf, but we're probably going to look at spinning it up, because we're planning a project here for Q4 with Crypto House. That's a much larger conversation, but I really believe, especially people that are more crypto initiated, if you will, would much more typically, I think, prefer to have their funds and all of the opportunities that exist as far as tax incentives surrounding the Opportunity Zone Fund. And then we'll definitely be tapping your brain, wanting to hear more. And I'm going to bring that up full screen again, as far as the digital asset and crypto education for financial advisors. So definitely wanting to have more conversations with you, Adam, as far as what that looks like. And then as we're working towards setting up our own fractionalized real estate beginner, professional, and expert tiered certificate program. And then one of the other things that we've roadmapped too, and right now we've got that on the roadmap at Retoken DAO for Q1, is we're looking to do a Retoken virtual summit for real estate tokenization. And that's going to be one of our fundraising things that we'll probably do via some value add deal. Anyway, we'll talk more about that, but it's been absolutely wonderful hanging out with you today, and looking forward to connecting with you in person when you're in Denver for that. So any final thoughts before we wrap this up for the day?
No final thoughts. Okay, you go ahead, Tyler. Ladies first.
No, Adam, I was just going to say, I was going to thank you for hanging out with us and sharing some knowledge, and hope you come back.
Okay, well, I appreciate your having me on. I always appreciate getting to talk about anything crypto, DeFi, DAO, anything like that. This has been, such a learning experience. So getting to actually talk through it with you actually helps me and helps us be able to learn more about what we're going through, and hearing some of the great questions that you all and others have had is very helpful. So I really appreciate it. Look forward to meeting you in person. Look forward to doing this again. We'll give an update. We'll give it like a 2-month, 6-month update.
Yeah, I love it. Look forward to it.
Would really appreciate that. So thanks again, everybody. And I did extend those to people that we had Slash and Trayton. Hit me up with the DM and we'll get you some. And that's, of course, pending the proposal because we haven't even done yet our very first proposal here with the DAO Hack. So we'll make sure, like Tyler suggested, smash the subscribe button. We're going to be dropping all kinds of content here on this channel as we just have wonderful conversations like this. And again, thanks, Adam.
Sure. Thank you.
All right.